with Mr. Barrett for 6 minutes. Go ahead, sir.
How often did Mr. Trudeau sign donation agreements?
Not often at all, as far as I recall. Frankly, a lot of the donations didn't require donation agreements. This was a ceremony that took place at the University of Montreal. You had a document that was signed by officials of the University of Montreal and by Mr. Trudeau. It was quite a formal affair rather than what we would normally do with donations, where we'd receive a donation and send back a receipt.
Did the donors request that A. Trudeau or Mr. Alexandre Trudeau be involved in the ceremony?
I don't recall. I know he's appearing here tomorrow. It's a question you might well put to him. I don't recall whether they requested it or whether he thought that it was a good initiative on his part. And as I said, given the circumstances and the nature of the gift and the spirit in which it was given and his father's involvement in opening up diplomatic relations with China, it was felt that it was appropriate that he would be there.
Right, and while it may have been considered appropriate, it also could be problematic, not based on who his father was, but based on who his brother is, and based on the circumstances surrounding the donors. And I'd like to ask you a question about that. You said that it wasn't unusual to have staff from the company that these individuals claimed they were representing to provide a mailing address. What country was the mailing address that it was sent to?
It was China. This is all kind of in these documents. My understanding is that Mr. Zhang, and there's no secret
But
about...
Isn't that unusual, sir? Though for it to be, do you receive donations from many Canadian companies who ask you to send the paperwork back to China?
No, I don't.
Is this the only time that's happened?
As far as I know it is, but if I can explain. Mr. Zhang, if you look up Mr. Zhang online, you'll find that he has wears a number of hats, including chair of Millennium Eagle Corporation, including being the president of the China Cultural Industry Association. And in fact, the address to which the donation was sent in China, you will see when you see the materials, is the address that of Mr. Zhang as a director of Millennium Golden Eagle Canada Inc. that is noted in the corporate records kept by the corporation's branch in Ottawa.
And you'll table that you're undertaking to table the documents that you're
Absolutely.
referencing? Okay. And are you able to do that today? You have them in hand?
Well, I have them in hand, but I was told that the rules of the committee don't permit me to table paper.
Okay. Just if you could.
We can waive that. Oh. Point of order, quickly.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Green, with your point of order.
Mr. Chair, is there an ability for us to waive the rules and allow those documents to be tabled in paper, as well as a follow-up perhaps electronically if they're made available?
Yeah, my understanding is we may need a motion to do that, but I will clarify that with the clerk, or once a motion is proposed, we can seek unanimous consent.
I'll move a unanimous consent motion.
Just let me check with the clerk.
Sure. Hey, Larry.
I could clarify a bit further if you'd like. No?
No, we'll just wait till he starts
Sorry,
my
okay.
starts my right back up there.
So thank you for allowing me the time to clarify. You can't do that on a point of order. You have to do that when you have the floor. But you can also propose, Mr. Green, that notwithstanding the usual practice of the committee, that you could ask for these documents to be submitted, and I would hope that we would have unanimous consent for that. So we'll have
Mr. Chair,
to
I'll
wait.
acknowledge that Mr. Barrett has the floor and has the prerogative to do that at this time.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Barrett, you can continue.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, if that's okay. Which documents are we specifically referring to?
Well, Mr. Rosenberg has referred to 160 pages of document. What was that?
I don't have the whole 160 pages here. This is a corporate search on Millennium Golden Eagle International.
Okay,
So respectfully
the
Mr. Chair.
The motion hasn't been moved, so there's actually no debate that's going on right now. I thought you were just seeking a point of clarification, which I accepted. Mr. Barrett, if you want to continue, you have 3 minutes to continue. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thanks, Chair. So are you able to say at what point that the Prime Minister or his brother were raised in the negotiations that occurred over the 2-year period between the donors and the foundation?
I think very early on, not the Prime Minister, but Mr. Alexander Trudeau would have been involved. I started my job at the foundation in September of 2014. I know that Mr. Trudeau was having some discussions with Mr. Lefebvre from the University of Montreal before that. You'd have to ask him when those began. I believe they began quite early in 2014.
When did you first learn about the donation?
Which one? The donation to the University of Montreal?
The donation destined for the Trudeau Foundation.
September of 2015.
And how did you learn about that?
You'll have to understand that we're talking about something that happened 8 years ago. So my memory of this